Mr. Maxwell Ado, I think you're doing a great job in Nigeria. And I've been following what you're doing, capacity building, trying to add value to the lives of people across, West Africa and beyond. We are excited to have someone like you. I bring you greetings from LUP Ghana. Ghana definitely is like a sister country to Nigeria. The only struggle that we are now struggling with between both countries is whose jollof rice is nice. But I'm sure by the time we get to the end of the year, we'll be able to understand whose jollof rice is nice. Well, I hope it sets the ball rolling for us. I don't know how you are spending or you spent your weekend, but mine has been quite hectic and also an interesting one because it's really taught me a lot of lessons. It's a lot of meditation, some time to hang out with friends, and also to understand what is happening around the lives of people and also in the world. Most of the time, you might be consumed by what is going on in your life that you lose sight of what is going on in the world and in the life of others. And so it makes life quite a little bit of a difficulty. But hey, we are grateful to the Almighty for granting us the privilege to be here and to share with you on a very insightful and, for me, I feel very technical topic, and a topic that I believe will help each one of us, including myself, prepare strategically to be to get the best out of the world and the life that we are living. I don't know, is it possible for an interaction or something, or I just go straight and do main screen?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. That's okay. I like to always begin my presentation with a word of prayer. I don't know if that works for you, but I'd like you to join me. Father, we thank you for your message giving. We are excited to be here, and we trust that we will learn from each other and we will all be blessed. Thank you for the organizer, Mr. Maxwell, and his company, Unique Consult and all. We are really excited that through him, a lot of lives are being impacted and imparted. We thank you through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right. You can use the chat box. You can ask questions as and when, because I like to make this session quite interactive. I think there are some few people also from Ghana that have joined, and I hope it becomes a great thing. Right. So this evening, I'd like us to tune all our mind, our attention, and all our focus within just 30 minutes to help me talk to you, especially about what is going on around us, what is coming in the world, especially within the walls and within the space of career, and also personal development and organizational development. I believe strongly you have signed up for this meeting or this program because you want to add a little value to yourself, or maybe to also understand some technicalities or skill positioning, especially for your organization and for whatever you lead or whoever you really are. Now, the topic really is positioning for the future. Positioning for the future. If you look at these keywords, I want to concentrate on the last word, which is the future, right? Because most of our deliberation and discussion wouldn't make meaning if we do not underpin it with a futuristic perspective, right? Before I just move on to the next slide, I want you to understand this, that the knowledge that you have now, the exposure, the experiences, and all that you think you have acquired within the years of studies and all that there is cannot help you solve the challenges of tomorrow. So, what, in other words, we always have to do what we call continuous learning. We always have to open ourselves to new ideas and embrace new things that comes our way for the purpose of learning and making informed decisions. And that is why it is very much of a struggle when people hide in their small corners and they think they have it all put together. And so I want to encourage you to open up yourself to experience this dimension. It is very much important to understand that the world in which we live revolves and evolves continuously and rapidly. And for we in this generation, the rapidness of the change of the world has become very tangential to especially the work that we do as individuals and the organizations that we lead. That is why leaders and you yourself listening to me must invest in always trying to understand what is going on and how you can strategically position yourself to get a benefit of it for that matter. So I want to look at that. My name definitely is Bernard Quarm, and I am also, I'm a speaker. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. So I'm a speaker and also I lead Level Up Consultancy in Ghana. And as my brother Riley said, I am also part of the John Maxwell family, and it is a place you'd also want to be. All right. So away from that, for Level Up Consultancy, basically our whole idea, as the name rightly said, we want to level up. All right. So we try to connect institutions with how do we call it, knowledge providers, trying to create a platform where people are able to live up to expectation in whichever field that they find themselves. And so this topic falls within our right, capture. This evening, I'd like to take you through some few introductions about positioning ourselves in the future that we want to look into. I'd like to take you through how the world of the future is going to look like for you as an individual, and also inform you how you are supposed to move within these knowledge parameters to make informed decisions to help your organization. And I'd like to also go on to help you appreciate these three key words, which is to adopt, to adapt, and also to adapt. Then try to put up some few actionable takeaways and see how we can move into. Before I move on to the introduction and everything, I'd like to open this up to pick one or two comments about your expectation by the end of this session, and some few things on the top of your head when we talk about the future. So if you are ready, you can unmute and just help all of us appreciate those kind of divergent understanding and views. You can mention your name, possibly if you represent an organization, you can go ahead and do that and help us to know you and connect with you. All right, so I'd like to just give 2 minutes for that. I just need just 2-3 people to help me or help us in these key areas mentioned earlier. So who is beginning for us?
I'm John Jodubediakon, an educational consultant
Let me see. So,
based in Lagos.
okay.
Awesome.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bediakon, for joining. And you'd want to share with us what your expectation for this presentation is?
My expectation is to broaden my horizon. Definitely, I've been with Mr. Maxwell for a while, and I know anything which involves him must have a meaning and a worthwhile contribution. So I know
Wow.
that I'm going to be the better for it at the end of it all.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for the work you do within the area of education. It's a great place to be. I wish you the best. Please, anyone, next person.
Feel free to unmute your mic. We have some amazing people. Erica, you can unmute your mic. Miriam Kam, Daniel Owusu, Legible Johnson. Feel free to unmute your mic.
Good evening, everyone.
Feel free to express yourself. Don't be shy. We are one nice big family here. Okay, somebody has dropped in the chat room. He says, "I am Sam,
Okay.
education consultant based in Edo, really expecting to know what the future of work will look like in the nearest future." Thank you, Mr.
Awesome.
Sam.
Thank you so much. That is great. All right, that's fine. I think we should just move on real quick. I thought we could just hear the voice of a lady too. It will make the whole place wow, wow, wow. I heard
Yeah,
something
we
like
can get the
Erica.
lady. Yeah, we have Erica, we have Grace, we have Lucy. Please, ladies, we want to hear your voice. Please.
Hi, everyone. Good
Thank
evening.
you. I can hear somebody already. Great, thank you. Good evening.
I'm a policy and advocacy coordinator. I champion children's rights and protection for children. My
Volume is very
expectations.
low. Do you want to
Yeah.
increase the volume?
Is it better now?
Yes, slightly better.
Okay. So I said my expectations for this meeting this evening is to have one or two actionable points that I can use in pivoting my career, and then be able to adapt to the future going forward.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time and everything. It's been great. All right. Thank you. I appreciate your time and all.
Thank you.
So I like to quickly it's going to be a little bit of a read, but I mean, you just manage with it. All right. So I just want to take you through something, the Internet of Things, IoT. So I read for you quickly. So the future represents something we anticipate for. In other terms, if you're talking about the future, most people always are looking at 50 years, 10 years, 5 years. That is right, okay? But I'd like to help you appreciate the fact that even tomorrow falls within a definition of future. Even some few hours that we've not experienced, first possibly an hour after this, maybe you are 8 o'clock there, maybe 9 o'clock could also be a future for you. The minutes that are yet to come also are in that. Why I'm saying that is because most of the time, when we try to push the future far away from us, there is a potentiality that we are never going to be serious or committed into putting those actionable plans that can make the future great. And so, in however way you wish to define the future, one thing should be clear: the future is already here. What that means is we need to work in what we call urgency, and we have to stop procrastination and appreciate the now and begin to start it already. So if it's a company that you want to start, you start it now. If it's a business that you want to roll up, you start it now. If it's an initiative, it is a project, it is now. When you begin to outsource the future to a more farther one away, it almost presents a more complex issue for you. So I keep on talking about the fact that right now in our time or in our century, 21st century, you get to know that at least 1 billion people right now own actually an iPhone. Let's just look at that for now. They own other phones, but definitely 1 billion people around the world nowadays owns an iPhone. Even most homely to us, nearly 5 billion people uses social media. Please understand this. And right now, I know according to the World Index of Population Census and Calculation, there's a projection that we are near about 8.1 or definitely 8 billion people in the world. And trying to juxtapose 5 billion people having access to social media, it tells you that a chunk of the world has migrated from what we call traditional ways and means of doing things into what I call the Internet of Things platform, or IoT, however you want to talk about. So I say that the average person spends 2.5 hours every day on those or these social media accounts, and another 5 hours just checking emails. The days of thinking of the internet as a hobby that stayed plugged into the wall in a corner of a family room are gone beyond recall. Now, please listen carefully. Our work, our education, our relationships, and even our worships are increasingly happening digitally. Our tendency is often to think of these technologies as just neutral tools that do whatever we ask them to do. Not bad at all, but that is not quite right. The web is a language shaping in habitat that transforms how we think. So the question is not whether we will be shaped by the web, but the question is how is the web really shaping us? If you put all of these things together, it gives you what we call a backdrop or a background to our discussion this evening. I'd like you to appreciate sometimes, yes, you know that there is IT, there is IoT, and all of that. But for you to accept the reality that in the nearest future, maybe tomorrow, maybe some few hours nowadays, everything is going to be literally migrated into a digitalized economy is something that, as a businessman, as an individual, you should be looking at closely. What this presents for us is that it's going to fade out a certain form of practices, a certain form of culture, and a certain form of work ethics. It presents even a more complex nature for people who believe in what we call monotonous and repetitive works, right? So it is going to have what we call a paperless, how do we call it, economy, where we see that people do not even have the luxury of having papers, because right now the environmental guys are coming out so strong, especially talking against pollution, where we have a lot of papers and book covers coming up and all of that. So it presents for us also an interesting future where at the click of a button, you can easily travel around the world and come back, or you can just make purchases here and there. And so this evening, I'd like to let you understand that everything about us, starting from our communication, everything about us is literally at the click of a finger. What does that mean for us as businessmen and as individuals? I like to take you through the digital world right now. I don't want to waste much time. I don't because I don't spend so much time dealing with a lot of these things. First thing I like all of us to know, as I hear some of you educational consultants and all, is we are definitely in the digital world now. And even presenting itself is going to be a more intense moment where we're going to see a sharp transitioning, where we are going to see less and less of paper graphics all around. And 2020 even accelerated it so much for us to begin to accept the reality of migrating onto the digital world. And so in the digital world, just pick just these 5 major areas, which I believe will help you very much. These are some real tools or some real thing that is happening within the digital space. And when we pick one of them, which is the Internet of Things, when we talk about the Internet of Things, it presents a platform, okay? And I just read a little bit for you here in my screen here, is that it is the idea that all technological devices can be connected to the internet and to each other in an attempt to create a perfect marriage between the physical and the digital worlds. All right. So what this means really is, for example, for those who work in the marketing, advertising, media, or business management industry, the IoT could provide a wealth of information on how consumers engage with products by tackling their interactions with digital devices. I mean, some few months ago, one of my friends in Netherlands just connected me to a very important app. With that app, you install it within either your educational how do you call space or in your business space. And this app actually eavesdrops on people's conversation, right? So it's as a result of it eavesdropping on this conversation between people, it's able to send meaningful information to the service provider and whoever is owning it as to the taste of people, the expectations of people, what people wish to have, and what they are thinking about. And it is an amazing device that is going to really even black out a lot of services and a lot of things that are going on. So the Internet of Things provides a wide variety where people are able to access wide range of information, even transcending to the point of appreciating um, even to the point of appreciating shared contents. Another one is, which is not really out there, but it's really going to be more visible going forward, especially from 2025 forward. And that is what we call the virtual reality. The virtual reality has to do with a situation or a technology where people are able to have what we call a virtual reality of what they hope to have. All right. And I just read it for you. So it is all about um, how improvement to both hardware programming and the effect is going to have, especially on the retail industries and even on the education industry. Now, remember watching movies about virtual reality and thinking how cool it would be if it was actually a real life thing. Well, it is about to come. How is this going to really affect us? The virtual reality has been a popular component of video games for several years, and this trend is continuing to expand in addition to it. So virtual reality is likely to affect companies, all right, and businesses across board as they adapt technology to help them engage customers more effectively and to also optimize their sales and marketing efforts. I don't know how it happens in Nigeria, but instead of going all the way to a shop to, touch things or wear something or measure things, it's not going to be so. With just these virtual reality platforms, you can just have what we call a reality of what you are anticipating to have, so that you can even literally touch certain things and make a feel of how those things will really be until you even have a physical touch of them. So it presents a great opportunity, especially for marketing companies and organizations. The next one has to do with the machine learning. With the machine learning, what is happening right now, which is very important, ladies and gentlemen, is when we talk about the machine learning, it's almost like the virtual reality thing, though, but it is more of like the ability of computers' ability to learn on its own by analyzing data and tracking repeating patterns. For example, when we go on the social media platforms, we use machine learning to get a better understanding of how we are connected to those social networks. So they do this by analyzing people's likes. Yeah, so I think my thing just froze a little bit. Yeah, their likes, their comments, and all of that. So it presents a complex nature. And let me just show you this. I started understanding some few things that sometimes I just would be thinking about something in my mind, and immediately I take my phone and I just log on to the internet. It's almost as if Google just knew what I was thinking in my mind, because it begins to open those things that I was thinking in my mind. All right. I don't know if it has happened to you, but if you are somebody who is really on the internet, you find out that at the end of the day, the machine learning has presented a more complex a situation, and for me, a very interesting experience for businesses, for clients, for customers, so on and so forth, in that it's able to gather together enormous information from the likes, from the comments, from the conversation of people, and begin to make products that fits perfectly the demands and the needs of people around you. And so as an educational consultant, one of the things you need to look at is investing in some of these platforms, or even picking up training courses to appreciate the concerns, the complaints, the interest of the people that are within your school or are within your stakeholder engagement reality. The last one has to do with the touch commerce. A lot of you are already, I mean, you can just sit in your room, you can order the Uber the next time the Uber is here, you can just click something, all that you are purchasing comes to you, and it makes everything okay. But you see, all these things that have started gradually is just like a warm-up or a precursor to what is going to come in the near future, such that if we do not begin to appreciate where our world is going and strategically position ourselves to it, we are going to be left out. That is why now we see a lot of typewriters and all those kind of machines outfaded and outmoded. And it's one of the things too that is jobs that is really under greater threat has to do with the administrative assistant. Now we have virtual assistants. It records minutes for you. It puts all the minutes together in an understandable report, and it's almost coming up to even help us to attend meetings on our behalf. And it is happening so much, and it's really interesting. So some of these apps like Alta, some of these apps like Trello, some of these apps helps us a lot to bridge the gap and also make life easier. The only unfortunate thing is a lot of people know about this, but they are really not prepared for what is coming next. You see, and that is so. Now, the next thing I want you to really appreciate is there are certain scale proposition, certain knowledge that we need to build so that we'll be able to position ourselves strategically. It doesn't matter the field in which you are, it doesn't matter where you find yourself. As a person individually and as an organization, is something that you should really be looking at. I don't know. I do a lot of consultations for certain companies and certain organizations in Ghana and also outside within the West Africa enclave. And I find out that it's like a lot of institutions, most of the time, government institutions are really not ready for what is yet to come, because they are still holding on to their traditional ways of, doing things, where we see a lot of paperwork, a lot of bureaucracies, a lot of long queues, where people begin to struggle to even, when it comes to even elections, it becomes even more complex, all right? But when we are able to pick up these skills and these ideas, it makes you become even more likable and more employable in wherever you find yourself. So the first skill that every person needs to look at for is the leadership skill. Please understand this carefully. And if I'm talking about the leadership skill, I am zeroing it down to self-leadership. Going forward, the society or the world of work is looking out for employees or looking for people who are able to exhibit what we call practical self-leadership. such that you do not become a burden, you do not become a trouble, neither do you also become an excess baggage. Companies are increasingly shying away from investing in employees because the danger of investing in employees is that employees always leave and they come, they leave and go, they come and go. And so it becomes a great cost to companies and organizations who invest in employees, and just after they are completed with the training sessions, they leave for other organizations. So nowadays, companies and organizations are looking out for candidates who have developed what we call quality leadership skills, and that is stemming from self leadership when it comes to the ability to organize, the ability to put things in a meaningful way and carry themselves about in a more meaningful and in a more satisfactory way. And it is something that doesn't just happen. You need to learn it. You need to appreciate it, and it helps you. Number two is the tech skill, which we are already looking at carefully. Trying to know how to connect, how to use the tools, the machines, how to even put together a simple, meaningful graphics, something like being able to put together quality and meaningful things to make what we call organizational increase will definitely make you to be well positioned in your world today. I remember I went for a very top meeting, and I was so surprised that just dealing with projection, all right, it was a tough thing for a lot of people to even do it. And I mean, God granted me that opportunity. I was able to fix just that small PowerPoint struggle, and it was like I was the Superman of the day. When you're able to build up your tech skills, it presents a wide variety of opportunities for you, especially as a company and also as an individual. The other skill that you need to appreciate is the research and learning skill. We have been presented with a century, with an ecosystem where you are able to have access to any information, any data, and anything that you need to make a meaningful life. And this is one of the greatest blessings of our time. Aside all that we can look at and talk about with the negatives of the internet and the impact that is having on our social, cultural growth and everything, the internet presents itself, especially for everyone who is able to learn and understand how to research and how to scale up and how to learn things on the internet. It is great, and it is fast, and it is powerful. So if you are able to understand and how to navigate through the web, and you use the tools and the resources that are provided within the providence of the IoT, you will definitely be strategically positioned for the world of work in the near future, either tomorrow or some few days ahead of you. And the last one, and even more, is the social skill. I made a presentation on one of the topics we call social capital, leveraging on social capital as one of the sources of funding your business. One of the things that we lose sight of, one of the areas that we downplay and yet plays an intrinsic role in all that we can ever be properly positioned in the future, is having the ability to connect with people. And I recommend this book for you, written by my mentor and coach, which is Dr. John C. Maxwell, which is, he said, many communicate, but few connects. Many communicate, but few connect. One of the skills that you will need, especially in our time, is how to build meaningful and quality relationship. Yes, not everyone matters in our lives, but some people do matter in our life. how to communicate, learning to be assertive, learning to connect with people and understand how you can better serve them presents a more wider opportunity and possibilities for you as a consultant, as a business, and as an individual. So we pick together a great leadership skill, marry it with a budding technical or tech skill, then learning and also having the grace of surfing the internet for information, and also appreciating the value and the importance of connecting with people will at the end of the day scale you up and present a more wider opportunity for you. And I move on to something that I mean is very important for me. Okay, becoming relevant in this life or in the world or in the moment to come. I three ways: to adapt, to adapt, and to adopt. You see, the world keeps changing every now and then. Situations do not remain the same. Recipe for cooking are always changing. The way we go about things also does not remain the same. So to adapt means that to get accustomed to something. The miracle of the 21st century, as it presents itself to graduates, is their ability, their their willingness to easily and in a fast manner adapt to changing trends. Many people, when confronted with challenges or issues that they do not have an idea about, literally give up just because they don't have knowledge about it. Then what is the purpose of you even having the web or even understanding what is happening on the social media space? We need to understand that what we do not know is in the luxury or on the silver platter of somebody else. And so if you are able to even connect through either the social media or with people, you are able to have knowledge into it. So having the ability or the knowledge of learning to adapt, which has to do with being able to multitask, being able to become flexible, that is flexibility, and your ability to learn fast on the job or wherever you find yourself is your best bet to achieving great relevance in the world of work that presents itself to us even tomorrow or the next day after. The next one is adept. Being adept is something that we cannot overemphasize in the 21st century and even in the world of work. Being exceptionally good at doing something that is seen as difficult will always put you ahead of millions and millions of people, right? So you need to identify that particular niche area that is a need area and focus your energy and your time in developing what we call competences. That helps you to become the master of your game, and that brings you in the limelight of excellence. And the final one is to adopt. All right. When you learn to adopt good things and learn greater things from others, it also presents a more interesting future for you and your organization. Yes, the fact that someone is doing something doesn't mean that you cannot do it. It is wisdom for you to approach and learn, then also adopt accordingly. So you adapt to the changing trends, which are good because not all the changing trends are great and very intrinsic to your personal growth and your goals in life. It great. Then learning to now focus on trying to become a master of the field in which you have is something that we call to adapt. Then to adopt is to adopt certain things that you are seeing somewhere that you believe can help you a lot. Now, what does it mean? So looking ahead to 2024, what are your expectations? What are your to-dos? And what are your plans? I believe strongly as an organization, as a consultant, right now we are in September. It is just left with barely 4 months or even 3 months. We have just October, November, December to launch into 2024. I believe strongly by this time you already have your plans ready for 2024. Many people, because we think that 2024 is far away. Trust me, 2024 is just tomorrow. All right. And so you start right now. So looking ahead to 2024, what are we expecting? What are we really looking at? I take you back again. You are really looking at a world of digitalized system, and there's no way this thing is going to go back. It has come to really stay, right? But what we are doing in Level Up and at Level Up is we want to connect with people like Maxwell Ado, people like you, and all of that to connect and build a better future together. A future where each one of us can matter and each one of us will become relevant and make the best out of it. And so I'd like to just end here and ask if you have any question, because already time, my 30 minutes is even gone, my 40 minutes is gone because I was just timing myself. So this is something small. Yeah, this is something small I want to share. It's so many because I don't want to also bring a lot of technicalities into this, but I believe these things will just help you surge in your area of expertise. Thank you. And I just wait on you for questions. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Please, can we just appreciate our speaker with the emojis? Please, can the emojis just be rolling in? Please, guys. He has done some magic. Trust me. Let me even read some feedback first of all to you, our dear speaker, before I even tell you how amazing you have been the last few minutes. Well, so somebody says, thank you so much for an impactful presentation, right?
Mm,
Though he has a few questions, but he wants to say thank you. And I want to say on behalf of everybody on the call and from all of us at Unique Ideas Consulting Lagos, we want to say thank you so much for this insightful session, for your time. It has been something that has been transformational, and I was writing down a few things while you were talking,
mm,
right? Um, and I'll just take the question in the chat room right away. So somebody
right.
says, can you share some strategies you employ to maintain a healthy work-life balance while advancing your career?
Awesome. Yeah, so this is also one of the areas that is a big struggle for, contemporary guys like us and all, being able to maintain a healthy work-life balance while advancing your career. We call it career transitioning, okay? When career transitioning should be a gradual one, at the same time, a more should I say, um, meaningful or enjoying one. Now, bear in mind that if you want to maintain a work-life balance while advancing your career, there are some few things that you need to know. Now, the first one is this: what are the prospects in that kind of career path or career destination that I'm looking at? You juxtapose it with the world of tomorrow or the future of work. Is this something that is meaningful, or it's something that is going to be very rewarding? Because if you do not really appreciate the end result of whatever you are looking at, it might make you not even put in your best into it. And another thing too is, most of the time in trying to advance in our career trajectories, we forget the now, the what we have, and we focus on that too much that we end up breaking this. So the first thing that I want to encourage you is, number one, plan. You need to have what we call a strategic career advancing plan. You really need to have that plan. That's the first one. Now, number two also is, do not choose, well, you can definitely move away from your current, should I say, career um, 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 path into another path, but it's most of the time rewarding when you begin to increase or take a career path that is within the path that you're already in, such that it presents a more comfortable and more rewarding experiences for you. Because, for example, if you are, let's say, in the sciences career domain and you are trying to transition into the business domain, it presents a more complex time for you, because you need a lot of time and a lot of energy, a lot of money to be able to move into those kind of. But nonetheless, it is very possible. So you need that plan. Number two, you need a mentor who is in that field already, that can grant you guidelines and also the better of options in you being able to balance or make that life balance. Then at the end of the day, so don't forget to always evaluate, okay? To always evaluate. Because based on that, you'll be able to make the whole thing. We read something like, what approaches do you use to expand your professional network and establish value connection? Yeah, this guy is asking really technical questions, Maxwell.
Very, very. I guess he's a professor.
Yeah, he wants to send me into another presentation, but I will just summarize. No, that's a very important question. I wish you can keep these questions so we can really work on that for him. So, what approaches do you use to expand your professional network and establish valuable connections? Yeah. So, in the book, first of all, I recommend you to get the book from Dr. John C. Maxwell, which is Many Communicate but Few Connect. It's a very interesting book, and it's good for people who lead organizations and who speakers and coaches and all of that. But what I can just tell you in summary is you really need to appreciate what we call values. Okay, one of the greatest platform that helps you to expand your professional network and establish a valuable connection is values. Values proposition or values are the lifeline of every organization and every person, because we cannot go on a higher pedestal of career excellence when we throw away our values, because value is that thing that gives what we call meaning to whatever career laurel that you're looking forward to approach. So please look at that. That's what I want to talk about for now. Pick up people who are who share the same values and also the same kind of connection with you. And yeah, what steps are you taking to ensure that your personal and career growth aligns with your long-term aspirations? Yeah. So talk about steps. Number one, the first idea has to do with I think it will be good also for you to get my book, which I'm actually launching on the 7th of October 2023. Is going to be a great one. It's something that really talks about the steps that helps you in your personal and career growth, especially when you want to align with your long-term aspiration. The first one, what we call the identity and career positioning. All right, that's very important. I hold it as one of my philosophy of life, that when you're trying to look at engaging a career destination, please do not do it in isolation with your values and your identity as a person, because at the end of the day, your identity and values are going to give what we call meaning to that career thing that you are looking into. It will now increase what we call your passion, your likes, and your growth. Because if you are doing what you like or you are really excited about, it leads you into more of growth. You grow quickly and you grow wide. All right. So when you are looking at your personal and career growth, aligning it with your long-term aspiration, please come back to understand that what do I really want? What do I really want to value? And what is my end goal? And that, I believe, will also go a long way to help you in that, right? So thank you very much. I'd like to leave it here. I know I've just touched it sufficiently because of my time. I have another meeting actually coming up. But thank you for your time,
Wow.
Samuel. These are
Wow.
very great questions.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Bernard. Don't worry, we'll be out of here in 3 minutes. I want to say thank you so much for this value that you have dished out today. So to wrap this whole thing up, guys, everyone, you're going to get a recording of this session. But the most important thing here is so to be able to effectively transition, right, and understand, okay, so what do I need to do and all that. He
All right.
mentioned something, he talked about getting the right counsel and getting a mentor, somebody who can guide you.
Absolutely.
Mr. Bernard Quarm is on ground full time, and somebody from the office will be reaching out to you. And if you want to get him to be a mentor to you and actually guide you in this tech space on how to transition effectively, Mr. Bernard is your man, right? We'll be creating a platform where we'll communicate with you more details and all that, and also share with you more information so that you can actually connect with Mr. Bernard. And then I'm also sure that his book, we'll share the link to. Can we buy it on Seller apart from or Forbes Books, or where else can we buy the book for those of us
Yeah.
who are in
It,
Ghana?
it's on Amazon. It's on. I'll show you all the link. It's online. You can also get it there.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Awesome. So the links to that will be shared on the platform, and then more details, Mr. Quam's Connect will be sent there so you can actually connect with him and reach out to him. But somebody from the office will call you this week just to confirm if you want Mr. Bernard to be a coach for you and a mentor and a counselor to guide you on what next to do. On that note, I want to say thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for taking our time to attend this. I want to especially thank everybody, our speaker. Please, let's appreciate him one more time with some nice emojis. Thank you, Mr. Bernard. Thank you, Abigail Akofa, for joining. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Miriam Kam. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. Bokete. Hope I pronounced that properly. Lord help me. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Owusu. Thank you, Legible Johnson. Thank you, Letica Lauer. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Mr. John Bediako. Thank you, Mr. Sam from Edo. Thank you, Samuel, the professor with the strong question.
Oh yeah.
Theodora. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a fantastic week, and bye from my end here. Thank you. We love you so much. Bye.